Al Ewing, Donny Cates and Salvador Larroca unleash the fury of the Darkoth on Thor and Venom as they desperately try and combat the symbiote-infected devil and prevent his rampage. Al Ewing and Donny Cates wrap up their quick Venom-Thor team-up with some pretty crazy twists and turns and classic team-up tropes, the biggest being Thor and Venom combining to make one cool-looking toy for Marvel Legends to eventually make sometime down the line. While Ewing no doubt handled a lot of the Venom-related stuff, specifically the twist ending, I loved Cates got to do more of his brilliant, epic-sounding dialogue when describing Donald Blake's fate and the concept of myths being filled with twists and turns like a certain serpent. Cates also works in some more dark foreshadowing with what Thor will be facing in his future with Thanos among other threats, tying it all nicely in with Meridius and the stuff that Ewing and Ram V were doing over in the Venom book with that character. Meridius' appearance was actually a really fun little twist that I didn't see coming and prevents this from being a total run-of-the-mill hero team-up filled with all of the usual tropes, since it kind of upends the ending and Thor was really teaming with the villain the whole time, so it'll be fun to see what becomes of that character now that he was quote-unquote defeated by Thor and is now seemingly taken over Donald Blake's body, maybe? The ending left it open to be obviously picked up after the whole Thanos Death Note story takes over from the next couple of issues, so I'm looking forward to seeing what Donny has in store for Donald Blake in the near future. Salvador Larroca paints up Thor and Venom's team up with some grand action sequences, and usually for me, Larroca's artwork is very hit or miss, but I really enjoyed his work over this arc as the action was set out very coherently, very easy to follow, had a great flow to it, as well as the Thor Venom design was just really kick-ass and very simple and to the point and just looked like something straight out of the 90s. Thor issue 28 was another epic twist-filled adventure from Donny Cates and Al Ewing, ending out the team-up story with a really awesome twist and some more solid world-building of Cates' upcoming Thanos story event. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Thor issue 28 finds Donald Blake undergoing the venomous torture of Loki, the god of lies. The serpent constantly drips its corrosive venom into Blake's eyes, causing him to scream in immense pain. A voice says that Blake walked in blood to attain godhood, and there is no justice in it, only myth, since the gods are creatures of story, and if it's a good one, they will burn in darkness forever. But myth can be slippery as the story coils like a snake, filled with many twists and turns, and maybe instead of justice, this is all about revenge. Sif, Loki, Venom, and Thor meanwhile confront Darkoth the Death Demon, who thanks to the newly born symbiote from Bedlam, has gained new and deadly powers. Specifically, now the villain can make its own version of Mjolnir, dubbing it the Devil's Hammer. Mjolnir stirs with anger as Thor readies to unleash the cold winters of the storm from within it. Venom tells him to wait as Darkoth raises the hammer, controlled by the symbiote, which senses what Thor is about to do and does it first, launching a firestorm at Thor. A dark voice knows that this is the fires of hell and it's like acid or radiation sickness or venom, just like what Blake is currently enduring in the pit below. Thor survives the blow but feels pain as Odin tells him to focus on controlling his emotions as the demon comes for him, meeting his demon hammer with Thor's own. Darkoth lets out a grunt, unable to make words as Venom covers its eyes with web, telling Thor to get up. Loki helps his brother up, worried the amount of agony his brother is trying desperately to hide but failing at. Thor is shocked to find that the golden pieces of his hammer that make up Odin are beginning to melt as his father's spirit says it feels strange. Thor talks to Darkoth, telling him that he's done trying to get through to Desmond Pit inside of him, but now he'll hold back no longer as his hammer bleeds and now blood demands blood. Venom covers Darkoth in web, assuring Thor that he has this covered and even the devil himself could not break free from his webbing. Darkoth, however, is not the devil, snapping himself free from the web like it was nothing, as Sif explains that the demon has Limbo's own magic, and the man who was Desmond Pit was taken by that dark universe that also has strengthened the symbiote on him. Thor reminds him that they can't show mercy now and they need to fight together, hoping Venom will join him. Venom has no other choice, figuring this will actually be a new experience for him since usually he's the one who gets joined with, as he latches onto Thor, giving Thor his own symbiote as Donald Blake stops screaming, knowing that something is about to change. The god of black attacks Darkoth, striking him with his hammer, fist, and lightning. Sif notices that the thunderclaps hurt the demon, and Loki knows that that's thanks to Thor merging with the King in Black, meaning that it is triggering the ancestral fears of the Bedlam symbiote, meaning sound is hurting it, and if sound can hurt it, he knows that flame will hurt it as well, conjuring up a giant Muspelheim dragon that covers Darkoth, Thor, Venom, and Bedlam in dragon fire. Venom and Thor survive the fire, and Eddie knows that Darkoth will live since he's a devil, but Bedlam was not forged in the fires of hell like the host. Bedlam's child leaves Darkoth, disintegrating into a viscous black liquid. Venom notices that the child can still move freely in time without his control over it, and without the symbiote, Darkoth is now just an empty shell, trapped in a coma. Thor is sad for Desmond being stuck in his own body as Venom finds the Devil's Hammer is still there and he can pick it up, wondering how he is worthy. Thor wants to know what he is being worthy of, seeing as he was speaking of centuries, and the way he holds himself and the pain he holds back signals that he is a god playing at being a human. Venom doesn't say anything for a minute, but is impressed Thor spotted that, but he didn't lie to the god of thunder, since he is Eddie Brock and so much more. Venom transforms into Meridius, the Edward Brock of the future, who says that while this past is set in stone, he can still change the future. He knows that Thor has seen the future and what is to come, hoping Thor will at least try to do something. Thor wonders what the cost will be to those he loves as Meridius attacks, knowing that it was all going so well. The villain says that he will be absorbing the Prometheum Devil's Hammer as it's an element of darkness, and all Thor has to do is let him go. Sif and Loki back Thor up as Odin demands to be unleashed to deal with the villain. Thor stops them all, telling them that this is his fight as Meridius knows that he's never felt power like the Devil's Hammer before. Thor knows, wondering if it's felt his power though, as he's more than just a hammer. He's the king of the gods and the All-Father of Asgard. He unleashes the Thor Force, blowing back Meridius, who relents the power, telling Thor that he has won, but wonders what he has won exactly. Thor knows the future will help tell him that as Meridius liquefies himself. Sif wants to get Darkoth some help, but fears he might actually be in the coma forever. Loki wonders what to do with the symbiote, which begins to seep into the ground below, disappearing out of sight. Thor wonders if he really did destroy it or if this was all part of Meridius's plan. Sif, even with her magical foresight, cannot see where the symbiote has gone, but Loki thinks it's hidden by powerful magic. Not letting on, he knows the sinister truth of what hides under the solid rock beneath them. Below the battleground lies Donald Blake's torture chamber, where the symbiote arrives, splashing down into Donald's eyes and turning him into a powerful monster.